Hello, Lucy and Conrad and Caleb. Papa is back, and I've got one of the best stories ever. I know you hear me say that all the time, but this time it's really true. Lucy, you're going to love this story because it's all about Sue and Reed's wedding, and Sue's got a beautiful wedding gown. But Conrad, you pay attention too because there's more adventure, more superheroes, more supervillains packed into this comic book than ever before. Kids, y'all are really going to enjoy this, and I can't wait to tell it. So let's just go ahead and get started. You can tell by the cover of the comic that this is just a packed story. Look, we've got all of the Fantastic Four over here. We've got Thing and Torch and Invisible Girl and Mr. Fantastic. Look, here's the big villain is Doctor Doom, but man, everybody's in this story. We've got the X-Men. Here's Cyclops over here. We've got the Avengers. Here's Captain America, and Iron Man is up here. Um, wow, there's Spider-Man and the Hulk. Here's Thor. Look at all the villains. There's a Tuma. There's the android over here. Uh, Goodness gracious. Um, Really and truly, there's going to be a lot of folks that you haven't seen before. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? And see what the story is all about. Well, the title is called Bedlam at the Baxter Building, and you can see that Doctor Doom is a big part of this story, and he's reading the newspaper. The headlines say, "Today's the day, wedding bells for Reed and Sue." But of course, the happiness of the Fantastic Four just makes Doctor Doom angry. He's actually in a fortified castle in Latveria, the absolute monarch of that tiny nation, and he tears the newspaper to shreds in a fit of uncontrollable rage. He says, "Reed Richards, the only man in the world ever to defeat me, getting married today. This is my greatest chance for revenge, now when he will least expect it. My attack must be foolproof, irresistible, all powerful. Only by scoring the greatest victory of all time can I wipe out the humiliation of the past. Since the Fantastic Four are the greatest fighting team the world has ever known, only one thing will be sure to destroy them: an even greater team of super-powered foes, a veritable army of the most deadly villains alive." Wow, how's he going to gather an army like that? Notice that he's still holding his hands because they were injured in his fight with the Thing, and so he kicks the door open. He goes into his laboratory. He says, "By skillfully manipulating my high frequency emotion charger, I can fan the flames of hatred in the heart of every evil menace in existence. I shall transform their wedding day into the day of their final destruction." Oh, and so he's pulling levers and getting his emotion charger machine ready to go. But let us leave the world's most dangerous archvillain as we span the ocean to join the excited crowd milling in front of the Baxter Building, waiting to catch a glimpse of the world-famous celebrities who have come from near and far to attend one of the most eagerly awaited weddings in history. The policeman says, "Keep moving, folks. Don't crowd around the TV cameras." And here's a reporter saying, "This telecast is being brought to you as a public service." And then up here, the cameraman says, "Get another pan shot of the crowds, Charlie." And this fellow says, "It looks like the whole city turned out today. Right this way, Senator. You're just in time. Even important political figures are coming to the wedding of Reed and Sue. And here's a personal note from Stan and Jack, who's the writer and the artist for the Fantastic Four. They say if you're a name dropper, you're going to really have a ball now. Ready? Here we go. Lots of names. So the Thing is shaking the hand of Anthony Stark. Hiya, Stark. Say, I thought they only wore them hats in cartoons where kids toss snowballs at rich geezers. Look at this top hat. Isn't that fancy? Tony Stark is a very wealthy man, but he's also the Iron Man. Did y'all know that? Thing doesn't know that. Tony says, I thought I'd get it out of mothballs for the occasion. Wow, says Thing. You sure didn't find her in no pile of mothballs, chum. And this pretty girl with him says, why, thank you, Mr. Thing. Oh, here's two girls from another comic magazine. Oh, Hetty, isn't Tony Stark the absolute living end? You know it, Patsy. But let's see if we can find Millie the model. I heard she had an invitation. And here's a crowd in the back saying, we want Irving Forbush. We want Irving Forbush. Not sure who that is. One of Marvel's crazy made-up characters. But look, completely unnoticed in the milling throng, the paranoiac puppet master clutches a small, lifelike figure. Y'all remember the puppet master? You remember that he creates radioactive clay models to control people. He's thinking, this is the chance I've been waiting for. No one will suspect that the next guest will be under my control. And so here comes the next guest, approaching the Thing. The Thing thinks, this must be another VIP. They all look alike in them monkey suits. I might as well shake hands with him. He can brag about it for the rest of his life. But here comes a voice saying, stop, hold it, don't touch his hand. Well, why not? And look, here comes some agents, and they approach the fella and knock him out with a karate chop. This is Nick Fury. He's agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He says, good work, you guys. Lucky we got to him in time. This will put him out of action for a while, Colonel Fury. And the Thing says, hey, what in Sam Hill's going on here? So Nick Fury says that S.H.I.E.L.D. has a hidden brainwave camera. Took this picture of that guy's head. See, there are two mental patterns. It means another mind was controlling him. And we know who, don't we? Thing says, well, what do you know? So it's a good thing that they stopped him. And now the puppet master is angry and he runs away. He says, if not for Fury's agents, the Thing would have shaken my subject's hand and would have been injected with enough poison to kill him on the spot. I had sworn never to attack the Fantastic Four again, and yet something seemed to force me to do it, almost as if someone is actually controlling me. So, wow, that's it. The puppet master, who usually controls others, was actually under the control of Dr. Doom. And look, here's another gang of opponents. As the puppet master runs away, he thinks, I feel an aura of evil in the air all about me, as though some powerful, sinister force is secretly at work. Some force which will make others attack the Fantastic Four until they're finally destroyed. And as he runs away, look, it's the great apes of the Red Ghost, and they're coming out of the alley. And next, here comes the Red Ghost himself. Remember, he can make himself immaterial, and walk through walls. He says, "Ah, the coast is clear now, my three beauties." Not very beautiful, I don't think. But he goes on. "And so the time has come for the Red Ghost and his super apes to finish the job they'd begun many months ago, the job of annihilating the Fantastic Four." Meanwhile, in the luxurious lobby of the Baxter Building, we see the Thing running through the hall, and look who's back here. It's Professor X. He asks, "Is something wrong, Mr. Grimm?" "You bet your life," says the Thing. "I gotta warn Stretcho that someone's out to clobber us today." "Oh, I can't do it. It's his blamed wedding day. I don't want to spoil it by worrying the two of 'em. You're supposed to be a big brain. What do you think I ought to do, Professor?" And the professor answers, "Be on guard, my friend." And then he thinks, "My mutant brain senses danger even now." And at that moment, look, a drill boring through the floor of the lobby. "Get back, Professor," warns the Thing. "If it's what I think it is." Whirr! Here comes this great buzz saw coming from the ground. And sure enough, it comes from the subterranean earth. And here's the Mole Man, who says, "Ha! Little did they dream that the Mole Man would dare attempt such a brazen attack. Smash the Thing, brainless ones. The other is an invalid who cannot harm us." Well, he may be in a wheelchair, but he's certainly not an invalid. He's very powerful. And so that invalid can cause far more harm than any suspect. And mentally, he sends out a command, a call. This is Professor X calling the X-Men. "Red alert, red alert." And so the subterranean mindless beings, they swarm around the Thing. And here come the X-Men. "Hurry, the professor needs us," says Cyclops. Marvel Girl says, "Who dare threaten us now?" And Angel, flying above, says, "Whoever it is, the X-Men will handle him." Iceman says, "That's for sure, Angel." And here comes the Beast. "Faster, all! Mere loquaciousness cannot vanquish an adversary." And so the Beast uses his loquaciousness to warn the others not to talk too much. "The X-Men," hollers Mole Man. "My stun staff will drive you back." "What? I've never seen anyone dodge so quickly." And then Hank says, "You probably tell that to all the beasts." Yeah, the Beast is certainly going to dodge a clumsy attempt by the Mole Man. And Marvel Girl then picks him up with her mental powers. She says, "I'll keep him off balance telekinetically while we form a battle plan." Beast backs away and says, "Far be it from me to interfere, lovely lady." The Cyclops says, "I've got to stop those charging subterraneans." And so he opens up his visor and shoots out his eye blast. Marvel Girl, Beast, duck out of the way, quick! One high-intensity power beam ought to do the trick. Attaboy, Psych! "We've got 'em on the run," says Angel. "They're racing back underground, and look, using his wings, he's flying up and down, shoving them into the hole. Now all we've got to do is find a way to cork them up." And look, the Cyclops is using his power beam to force Mole Man back into the hole. When you attack one X-Man, you attack all of us. Remember that next time. And the Beast says, "Must you leave so soon? The party's just beginning." Marvel Girl asks, "How can we make sure they don't return?" And Professor X says, "I suspect that Iceman can take care of that." "Yeah, we'll see how. But here comes the Thing." He says, "Heads up, you guys. I've got some more of them for you." And look, he's got a whole bunch of subterranean figures, but they're stuffing them all in that hole, sending them back down to the earth below. And there, says Iceman, that solid mass of ice will seal the opening and push them steadily down as it keeps melting. Look out, Junior, says the thing. Don't splash that stuff on my rented duds. You guys make sure the mole man stays down there while I cut out. Now I know I gotta warn Reed, even if it is his wedding day. Hey, Stretch, where in Sam Hill are you hiding? Oh no, help, help! Thing hears a scream from in there behind that door, and it sounded like Alicia. And so he crashes through the door. But look, it's the baboon who attacks the thing with this electronic gizmo. And we hear the voice of Red Ghost saying, I was expecting you, thing, and so was my trained baboon. His high voltage shock ray is all ready for you. Says the thing as he gets struck by this high voltage ray. Whoops. Yeah. But here comes Mr. Fantastic in his stretchy tuxedo. What was that scream? That crash? Ben, what happened? Then he sees those beasts. They're the Red Ghost super apes. And so he reaches out and grabs the orangutan while, look, Sue puts up her invisible force field to protect her and Alicia from this giant gorilla. And she says, Reed, darling, hurry. I'm holding them off as long as I can with my invisible force field. And she says, don't worry, Alicia. We'll be all right now. Greetings, Richards, says the Red Ghost. Now that my orangutan is holding your arm, we have an old score to settle. If you harm those girls, warns Reed, I will, well, he won't harm anyone, Reed, says the Torch, who comes up just behind him. He says, not while the Human Torch can flame on. And so he shoots his flame at the Red Ghost, but the Red Ghost boasts, have you forgotten? Fire cannot affect the Red Ghost's unsolid body. And Reed says, I've got to pull free. Even though he grabbed the orangutan grabbed him right back. And so his arm is trapped. And Johnny, realizing that his flame isn't hurting the Red Ghost, he says, what do I do now? Now that you see how powerless you are to stop me, I'll subdue you forever with this instantaneous electrode scrambler gun. He's just got all kinds of weapons. And so Reed says, get back, Johnny. I'll take the blast. My body's natural resiliency will give me greater protection. But suddenly, there's a mysterious hum from the doorway, and a strange, unearthly force envelops the Red Ghost and is his inhuman slaves. Look at this red force that's filling the room and seems to be capturing the Red Ghost and his 3 super apes. What is it? Within one brief microsecond, they leave our time-space continuum only to enter a totally alien dimension. Look, there's the Red Ghost, there's the 3 super apes. But where are they? They're in an alien dimension. Who sent them there? Look, it's Dr. Strange. Johnny says, Reed, did you see what I saw? How? Reed says, there's your answer. It's Dr. Strange. And he says, by the hoary hordes of Hoggoth, my misty amulet has banished them to a distant netherworld. Thing says, Alicia, baby, come to your blue-eyed Benji boy. And so Alicia runs to the Thing. And there's Reed and Sue. Reed says, we're mighty grateful to you, my friend. I won't forget this. You have aided me in the past, Richards. 'Tis I who am grateful for the chance to repay my debt. It seems, alas, that danger takes no holiday, not even for a wedding. I don't like it, mister, says the thing. There's something rotten going on. Too many of our old sparring partners are popping up out of nowhere at one time. You're right, Ben, answers Reed. Wedding or no wedding, as of right now, we're all on the alert. Reed, what does it mean? Asks Sue. We're under attack by some powerful unknown foe, darling. We know, don't we? And at that moment, in Latveria, the foe whom Reed refers to smiles a sinister, triumphant smile. It's done. My emotion machine has caused the most deadly array of evildoers ever to assemble, to converge upon the Fantastic Four. Mm. Then, as if to prove the truth of Dr. Doom's words, let's see how many villains show up. Some of these you won't be familiar with. This is Mandarin. He's an opponent of Iron Man, and he appears and he thinks, some inner voice said to me that the Mandarin must not miss the wedding. And here's the Black Knight with his powerful lance flying through the air on his winged steed. He's an opponent of Giant Man. It seems that the same inner voice has whispered to many other familiar figures as well. Emissaries of evil out of the past, the present, and in one instance, even the future. This is Kang the Conqueror, and he comes from the future to battle heroes like the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. Some you may have forgotten, and you haven't forgotten, though, have you? The Mad Thinker's giant android. So he's stalking New York City also. And here's the Grey Gargoyle, who was Thor's opponent originally, as well as those who have fought enemies other than the Fantastic Four. But they all stand ready to battle the FF now. But luckily, not all who head for the Baxter Building are creatures of evil, because heroes are assembling as well, because they've been invited and want to honor Reed and Sue on their wedding day. And so here comes Thor flying through the air with his Mjolnir hammer, and he thinks that strange craft is like none I have ever beheld on Earth, and he who pilots it is no human being. Who is it that's inside that spacecraft? He says, one of Earth's costume defenders. He sees me. And so he shoots. He shoots a powerful ray gun. He says, he must be destroyed. This time none shall stop the Super Skrull from defeating the accursed Fantastic Four. And so Dr. Doom's emotion charger has called the Super Skrull from outer space to fight the Fantastic Four once again. But on his way, why, he doesn't hesitate to attack Thor. What's Thor going to do? Well, he's going to catch himself, temporarily stunned by the sudden blast attack. The mighty Thor plummets earthward, but at the last minute, he says, I'll break my fall by catching my hammer upon this roof edge. And so he stops himself from falling. And next, he swings his mighty hammer. Says, now whoever my callous attacker may be, he will feel the awesome wrath of a vengeful thunder god. And so he tosses his hammer, and whoom! The hammer smashes the spaceship. Nevermore shall that spacecraft menace another, so speaks the son of Odin. But the Super Skrull just jumps out of the ship and floats in the air. Says, I possess every power known, including the power to float on air. Now prepare to die at the hands of the galaxy's greatest warrior. Well, back at the Baxter Building, the Fantastic Four are looking out their windows, and hearing and seeing the commotion outside. "Yeesh," said Thing. "I've heard of noisy weddings, but this is ridiculous." That explosion came from, look, right above us, up in the sky. And Sue says, "Oh, Reed, it's like an evil omen warning us off of our wedding." "No, no, no." "Don't worry, sis," says the torch. "Nothing's going to stop your wedding. Whatever is wrong up there, the torch will take care of it. Flame on." So he flames on and flies up in the air. Then as the torch is lost to sight, Thing says, "Maybe you two should have just eloped." "Ben," says Alicia, "that was very uncalled for." "It's all right, Alicia," says Reed. "There's a lot of truth in what Ben said." "Oh, Reed," says Sue, "what will we do?" "The only thing we can do. Murdoch, something's happened. As our lawyer, would you tell the guests there will be a slight delay?" And so look, it's Matt Murdoch, the blind lawyer, with his cane. But you know who Matt Murdoch is, don't you? We saw him not long ago, helping the Fantastic Four battle Doctor Doom in the Battle of the Baxter Building. Well, he's here in his lawyer role, but I bet there's something else he can do. That's what he asks. "Is there anything I can do?" "Sure," says the Thing. "Do what he told you to without asking full questions." Well, Ben is rude, but he doesn't know all that Matt Murdock can do to help the Fantastic Four. And so he turns to his friends, Foggy and Karen, and says, "Karen, would you and Foggy relay Richard's message to his guests? All this excitement is getting me down." "Poor Susan Storm," says Karen. "I can just imagine how she must feel." And Foggy says, "Sure, Matt, you sit down and take it easy. We'll be right back." They don't know either who Matt Murdock really is. And so Matt goes off, and then he gets into his costume and he throws out a line, and he says, as soon as he is alone, the sightless man makes a quick change and proceeds to take it easy in a most unusual manner. So he goes out into the city. He says, "It seems as though a giant invasion of evil has hit the city. And if it has, it's time for Murdoch's masquerade to end and Daredevil's to begin." All right, so Daredevil is on the job. And again, he's going to help the Fantastic Four. Look, he is aware of something, a truck speeding dangerously past. I can clearly hear every word that's said. Well, it's a truck, and it's being manned by Hydra, evil agents that always oppose S.H.I.E.L.D., but here they're on hand to oppose the Fantastic Four. One of them says, "Faster, faster. Hydra will pay you double if our plan succeeds. This vortex bomb will level the Baxter Building within seconds. So look, on the back of the truck, a vortex bomb." That sounds terrible. "Look out, it's Daredevil." Oh! And so he jumps down and starts swinging and kicking. Says, "I hate to spoil your fun, boys, but it's not polite to interrupt a wedding." "I'll get him," says a Hydra agent. "He won't stop us now." And he shoots off his gun, crack, but he misses. The other fella says, "No, don't use your gun. Stop shooting, you fool, or you'll set off the bomb." Yeah, you don't want to shoot guns off around a bomb. "Jump," says the Hydra agents. "Leave him alone on the truck. It will blow up as soon as it hits something. It'll finish off Daredevil when it does." Daredevil says, "Now that's the most depressing item I've heard all day." And so the Hydra agents flee and leave Daredevil on top of the truck. But he swings into the driver's seat. He says, "Hydra may be out to kill Nick Fury, but I don't intend to let them cheat me out of my piece of wedding cake." Well, that's a lot of work to go to for a piece of wedding cake, but of course he also wants to save people. All right, here's another scene. Meanwhile, other wedding guests join in the fray. I'll take the sky route, gents, says Iron Man. And here's Captain America. He's speaking to Quicksilver, saying, "Full speed, Quicksilver. I'll follow you as best I can." And so we have lots of supervillains. We have more superheroes showing up, and all of them are going to converge on the Baxter Building, and we're going to have a big, big fight. Are you looking forward to that fight? Well, I am too, but we're going to have to wait a while before we get to the rest of our story. We're going to take a break now. Whew, just too much action for Papa, so we're going to take a break, and I'll come back and finish the story later. All right, I hope you're having fun. I am. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.